The palace of Ilthera stretched high into the sky, its crystalline walls glowing softly under the twin suns. The city below hummed with life, a mix of alien creatures moving between floating walkways and hovering vehicles. Yet inside one of the palace's private chambers, a quiet tension filled the air that no light or noise could dispel. Lyra, a small alien girl with pale lavender skin and bright silver eyes, sat on a cushioned bench. Her hands trembled as she stared at the polished floor, listening to the soft footsteps approaching. Today was the day her mother had promised her to a human. Lyra had heard of humans before, strange creatures from a distant blue planet. They were tall, strong, and clever, but stories said they were cold and unfeeling. The thought of leaving her home, her palace, and everyone she knew made her stomach twist into knots. Her mother, Varana, entered the room. She wore her usual regal garments, her expression calm but her eyes hard. "Lyra, it is time," she said softly, though there was an edge to her voice. "The human has come to take you. It is for the best. You will have opportunities beyond this world." Lyra's small voice trembled as she whispered, "Mother, I don't want to go. Please don't make me leave." Varana sighed and knelt beside her. "I am giving you a chance for a better life, my child. You must understand this is necessary. It is not about love. It is about survival." The words cut through Lyra like ice. Survival? She had always thought her mother loved her, yet now all she felt was fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of leaving everything behind. She looked up, eyes wide, hoping for some hint that this was not the end of her choice. Before Varana could respond, the chamber doors slid open with a soft hiss. A human stepped in. He was tall and broad-shouldered, with deep brown eyes that scanned the room carefully. He carried no weapon, only a small device that glimmered with alien symbols. His presence was commanding yet not threatening. "Lyra," he said, his voice calm but firm, "I am Marcus. I have come to bring you to the human settlement. You will be safe with us. I promise." Lyra's eyes widened further. Safe? She wasn't sure what that meant. The humans had technology far beyond her world, but she had no way to know if they could be trusted. She glanced at her mother, who looked back at her, her face serene but unreadable. It was then that a new presence filled the room. The air shifted, heavy with authority and calm power. The alien princess Solara entered silently. She moved with grace, her long robes flowing behind her as if the air itself obeyed her. Her eyes, a deep violet, landed on Lyra immediately. Lyra blinked. She had heard stories of Solara, the princess of their planet, known for her courage and wisdom. But she had never imagined meeting her in person, let alone in such a critical moment. Solara's gaze moved to Varana, then to Marcus. She spoke softly, but the room seemed to lean closer to hear her. "Take me instead," she whispered. The words hung in the air like a spark before an explosion. Lyra froze. Varana gasped, stepping back. Marcus blinked, clearly taken aback. Even the palace staff, who had seen many unusual events, whispered among themselves in surprise. Solara stepped closer to Lyra. "I will protect her," she said, her voice steady. "If she must leave her home, then it will be me who goes. She is too young, too fragile to face what awaits." Varana's face twisted with disbelief. "Princess, you cannot," she exclaimed. "This arrangement, my choice, was final. You are not to interfere." Solara turned to her, her expression unyielding. "You may have chosen for profit, but I choose for life. Lyra will not suffer because of your greed." Marcus remained silent for a moment, studying Solara. Humans were cautious by nature, and this was an unusual situation even for him. But he noticed something remarkable, the calm certainty in Solara's stance. She was not afraid. In fact, she seemed almost ready. Finally, Marcus nodded. "If this is her choice, and if the princess insists, then we will follow protocol. The child's safety is our priority." Varana's face paled. She opened her mouth to argue, but found herself without words. Solara's presence, her aura of strength and determination, left her powerless. Solara moved to Lyra and knelt beside her. "Do not be afraid," she whispered, brushing a lock of lavender hair from the girl's face. "You are not alone. I will be with you." Lyra felt a warmth spread through her chest, a tiny spark of hope. She nodded slowly, clinging to Solara's words. For the first time that day, she felt the fear of leaving her home lessen, replaced by a small sense of trust. The journey to the human transport ship was tense. Solara walked beside Lyra, shielding her subtly from the bustling palace staff and curious onlookers. Marcus followed behind, noting every detail, every gesture of the princess. Her intelligence, her bravery, and her empathy were all evident in the way she moved, the way she interacted with Lyra. As they approached the transport, a low hum resonated through the floor. The ship was sleek and silver, unlike anything Lyra had seen before. Lights flickered across its hull, symbols from both human and alien design. Lyra's eyes widened in awe, but Solara's steady grip on her hand reassured her. Marcus gestured toward the ship. "This way. It is safe inside. Once we depart, you will be under our protection." Solara glanced at him. "Safe does not mean certain," she said softly. "But it is a start." Inside the ship, Lyra marveled at the technology around her. Panels of glowing symbols, smooth surfaces, and strange compartments filled the interior. Solara guided her to a seat and ensured she was comfortable. "We must be ready," Solara whispered. "There are those who will not let this happen easily." Lyra tilted her head. "Who would stop us?" Solara's expression darkened. "Those who see you as property. Those who value wealth over life. Your mother made a deal, but there are others who enforce such deals with force." Before Lyra could respond, alarms blared through the ship. Red lights flashed and the hull vibrated with sudden energy. Marcus's voice came over the intercom. "We have incoming. Unknown attackers approaching fast." Solara's eyes narrowed. She stood and moved to a console, her fingers flying over the controls with precision. Lyra watched in amazement. The princess was not only brave but skilled in ways Lyra could barely understand. "Humans fight differently," Solara murmured, "but courage is the same. Marcus, I will need you to trust me fully." Marcus nodded, a small smile on his face. "I've already seen enough to know that's wise." As the ship shook from the first impact, Solara guided Lyra to a secure compartment. "Hold on tightly," she said. "I will not let anything happen to you." Lyra clutched her hands to her chest, heart racing. She had never felt fear like this before, but in Solara's presence there was also a strange sense of safety. The attack continued, but the princess remained calm, directing Marcus and the ship's crew with commands that blended human logic and alien intuition. Hours seemed to pass in a blur of lights and alarms. Lyra watched the displays as Solara anticipated every movement of their attackers. Each maneuver, each strategy, showed the strength of mind and spirit that humans often underestimated. Solara was teaching Lyra silently without words that bravery was not just physical, it was intelligence, decisiveness, and care for others. Finally, the alarms ceased. The attackers had retreated, unable to breach the ship's defenses. Lyra exhaled, her small body trembling, but relief washed over her. She looked at Solara with wide eyes. You saved me." Solara knelt beside her again, smiling gently. "No, Lyra, we saved each other. Courage comes in many forms. Today you learned that even in fear you can survive if someone chooses to stand with you." Marcus observed them quietly. He was impressed by the princess's ability to inspire loyalty and trust, not through fear or force, but through action, intelligence, and heart. He realized that humans, when paired with such allies, could achieve great things. As the ship jumped into light speed, leaving the planet far behind, Lyra leaned against Solara. The lavender skies of her home were now a memory, but the warmth of Solara's protection filled her heart. She was safe, not because of the technology surrounding her, but because of the courage and care of those who had chosen to stand beside her. Solara looked out into the stars, her expression calm but determined. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The galaxy is vast and danger is everywhere, but together we will face it. And one day, Lyra, you will understand what it truly means to protect someone and to be brave." Lyra nodded, a small smile on her face. For the first time in her life, she felt hope, not just for survival, but for the future she could shape alongside Solara, and perhaps even the humans who had shown her another kind of strength. And so, among the stars, the journey began, a journey of courage, loyalty, and the discovery of what it truly meant to stand together, no matter how different their worlds might be. The city of Virelia stretched across the horizon like a living organism, glowing with neon lights, buzzing with flying vehicles, and crowded with aliens of every shape and size. Towering spires reached high into the sky, connected by bridges of shimmering metal. The streets below were a chaotic mix of commerce, chatter, and color. Among the throngs of beings, a young alien girl named Lyra moved carefully, her bright eyes scanning the environment instinctively. She was small for her age, delicate in appearance, but there was a spark in her that made her stand out. Lyra had grown up in the heart of the city, the daughter of two of the planet's most brilliant scientists. Her parents had discovered a rare energy formula, one that could revolutionize technology across the galaxy. But with great discoveries came great danger. Many powerful figures coveted the formula, including ruthless warlords who would stop at nothing to possess it. Lyra's parents had warned her to be careful, but even they could not have anticipated the extent of the danger that would come. The first attack had come suddenly, in the middle of a night that should have been peaceful. Shadows had moved across their home, and Lyra remembered the sound of glass breaking, the flash of blaster fire, and her parents shouting her name. She had hidden under a console as a figure tore through the house, taking anything of value and leaving her parents lifeless on the floor. Fear had filled her young heart, but she had survived. Somehow, through luck and instinct, she had escaped the assassins. What Lyra did not know, what no one on Varelia knew, was that she had a protector. High above the city on the rooftops and in abandoned observation towers, a human sniper watched her every move. Marcus had been assigned a mission by a covert human interstellar organization. Protect Lyra at all costs, no matter the danger. He had arrived on Varelia quietly, blending into the shadows, and for 10 years he had silently guided her life. Marcus never interfered openly. He did not want Lyra to know he existed. From his hidden vantage points, he could see threats forming before they became real. He had stopped ambushes, sabotaged traps, and eliminated assassins before they even reached her. Every time Lyra felt she had narrowly escaped danger, it was Marcus who had intervened, unseen and unnoticed. The years had passed, and Lyra had grown into a clever and resilient young woman. She attended the best schools in the city, studied advanced science, and slowly began to piece together the strange pattern of events around her. She had survived attacks, accidents, and betrayals, yet she could never explain how. Some whispered of fate, others of luck, but Lyra was not convinced. Still, she never suspected that a human had dedicated a decade of his life to her safety. Marcus, from his hidden positions, watched her with a quiet intensity. He had learned her habits, memorized her routines, and even anticipated her moods. He admired her courage, her curiosity, and the way she faced the world despite the shadows that haunted her past. Yet he knew he could never approach her openly. His orders were clear: protect, never reveal. It was a lonely existence, watching someone grow from the shadows, feeling a connection that could never be spoken aloud. On this day, the streets of Varelia were unusually busy. A festival filled the main plaza, celebrating the city's scientific achievements. Lyra walked through the crowds, her eyes wide with wonder at the displays of glowing energy crystals, floating vehicles, and holographic projections. She was so absorbed in the spectacle that she did not notice the dark figures moving through the crowd, slipping between the festival goers with deadly precision. Marcus had seen them before Lyra did. From his perch high above, he adjusted the scope of his sniper rifle, identifying each threat. 5 heavily armed mercenaries moving with coordination and silence, closing in on Lyra's path. Marcus calculated the timing, the trajectory, the angles. Every instinct, every training session, every mission he had ever undertaken pointed to one conclusion: Lyra's life was in immediate danger. With calm precision, Marcus acted. A small pulse emitted from his rifle, disabling the communication devices of the mercenaries. One by one, they froze, their weapons falling uselessly to the ground. Panic flashed in their eyes as they realized something had gone wrong, but before they could react, Marcus was already moving. Using high-tech drones and quick maneuvers, he incapacitated the attackers silently. Not a single person in the crowd noticed the intervention. Lyra continued to walk, completely unaware of the danger she had just escaped. The incident left Marcus tense but satisfied. He knew the warlord behind this attack would escalate if she remained a target. He had to remain vigilant. From this day forward, the threats would grow more dangerous and the stakes higher. Yet Marcus had no fear. Humans had faced the impossible countless times, and he believed in his abilities. He also believed in Lyra, even if she did not know it. Meanwhile, Lyra continued her day, enchanted by the festival. She watched children play with floating toys, marveled at the demonstrations of advanced technology, and laughed at the performers juggling glowing spheres of energy. She had survived so much, and yet she still found joy in the world. Marcus watched her smile, feeling a mixture of pride and sorrow. Pride in her resilience, sorrow that she would never know why she was still alive. Later that evening, Lyra returned to her small apartment, exhausted but happy. She reflected on her life and the strange pattern of survival that had followed her. She could not shake the feeling that she had been watched over, protected by someone or something unseen. Marcus, from his hidden position on the rooftop across the street, observed her entering the building. He adjusted his scope, ensuring no threats remained nearby, and exhaled quietly. Another day, another successful mission, but the danger was never gone. Over the next few weeks, Marcus continued his silent watch. Lyra moved through her life unaware, but growing stronger, smarter, and more independent. Each time a threat emerged, Marcus was there, ensuring she was safe. He became a part of her life without ever stepping into it. A shadow whose presence she would never acknowledge. A guardian whose loyalty was absolute. One night, as Lyra studied late in her apartment, she heard a faint noise outside. The city was alive with sound, so she ignored it, thinking it was just the festival celebrations continuing. But Marcus, perched high above, noticed a new group of assassins attempting to breach the building. He acted immediately, using precision shots and electronic interference to stop them before they could reach her. Lyra barely noticed the commotion, assuming it was just another city disturbance. Marcus watched as she returned to her studies, her face illuminated by the glow of her holoscreen. 10 years of protection, 10 years of silent dedication, and she still had no idea he existed. And yet in that moment he felt a quiet satisfaction. Humans were often underestimated by aliens, seen as weaker or less capable, but he had proven that patience, skill, and determination could surpass even the most advanced technology and cunning enemies. As the city lights flickered and the night deepened, Marcus remained on his rooftop scanning for danger. He knew that the greatest threats were yet to come. Lyra's life would never be easy, and the enemies she faced would grow more dangerous. But he also knew something else: humans never gave up. No matter the odds, no matter the time, he would protect her. Even if she never knew his name, even if she never saw his face, he would remain her silent guardian. And for the first time in years, Marcus allowed himself a small moment of reflection. He thought about how much he had learned from watching her, how much he had grown alongside her, and how his humanity, his courage, his ingenuity, his resilience was what allowed him to succeed where others might fail. Humans had a way of enduring, of surprising, of accomplishing the impossible, and Marcus was living proof. The next day, the city buzzed with the same energy, the same chaos, and Lyra continued her life as if nothing had changed. But Marcus knew differently. He had seen the threats, he had eliminated them, and he would continue to do so. He was the shadow in the rooftops, the unseen hand guiding her through danger. And as he prepared for the next challenge, he felt a quiet certainty. No matter what came next, humans would always rise to protect those they valued. And so Lyra lived another day, unaware of the human sniper who had dedicated 10 years of his life to her safety, unaware of the silent guardian whose skill and courage had saved her countless times. Marcus watched from the shadows, ready for whatever came next, knowing that the bond between protector and protected did not need words, did not need acknowledgement. It existed in the actions, in the persistence, and in the unbreakable resolve of a human heart.